All right, folks, we are live. Flash flood warnings in effect. We have a severe thunderstorm warning also in effect down in southwestern Connecticut for Greenwich, Stamford, Norwalk, New Canaan, Darien, those type of areas. I think that we are seeing probably the strongest storms that we'll see today, hopefully. This is a very impressive storm along the warm front here. So what that means is the heat and humidity is trying to build more into the area. And what we're getting with that is we're getting these storms that are going to come in and they're going to dump prolific rainfall rates. And there's a little bit of spin with them as well. I noted a little bit of rotation here across New York State, Peekskill area, Yorktown area. This is where we did see some wind damage reports earlier. Right now, it does look to me like there's a little bit of rotation coming from Stamford to Darien, prolific lightning with this as well. So this is a situation you want to take seriously here. If you're down in any of these coastal cities, Greenwich to Stamford to Norwalk, this is kind of threat number one, I would say. And again, I'll show you the velocity really quick. But there is some weak rotation here where the greens meet the reds. This is where we would look for any spin up to form, but right now everything's pretty broad. You'll notice some other embedded cellular rotation in here as well. But again, right now, not seeing anything concerning as far as damaging winds or winds on the ground level. But that's something we'll keep watching. Again, the prolific lightning has been a story with this. From Greenwich to Stamford, the cells produce a lot of lightning right now. It looks like northern part of Norwalk here into Silver Mine, that Cranberry area, Cranberry Park area here, Merritt Parkway area. These are all getting hammered right now. Lightning strikes, torrential rainfall, and that rainfall is kind of the second hazard. So that's hazard number two. I want to show you what has fallen here in the last hour. And anywhere you see these dark browns or the reds, that's where things are going to get really dangerous really quickly in terms of flash flooding. This is 2.5 inches of rainfall. I sent a special text to folks at Ridgefield here. South side of town, 2.5 inches of rainfall in the last hour, right? So 2.5 inches of rainfall over the course of a day, no big deal. But if it falls within the course of 30, 45, 60 minutes, that's when things get a little more hazardous. So I would expect flash flooding to be occurring here in any of these brown areas. It's possible even in the orange or the tan areas, but where these darker browns are, I would expect it to be occurring. You can see here we even have 3 inch per hour rates here along the Merritt Parkway. Some of those Merritt Parkway hills, they don't always drain the best, right? So if you're driving the Merritt Parkway at the lunch hour here, please be safe, please be careful. Never drive through flooded roadways. And let me put this in motion here for you, but these are starting to move to the east. Let me put it in better motion. So I would be really concerned about these type of areas, and I've already received reports. Hopefully some of you guys can comment in if you're in Reading or Newtown right now. Again, send a special alert to Ridgefield and Reading for this core here, but this is spreading pretty rapidly to the east. So areas like Newtown, northern part of Monroe, Southbury, southern part of Southbury, and Oxford, I would be on the lookout here for the flash flood threat. And let me draw that for you here. A little out of my element, got to find my tools. But this is where I expect the heaviest rainfall to really come in. So a few recent reports I got. Reading, we saw flooding on the roadways. We saw Newtown, heavy rainfall coming down. Let me, mute my other part of my stream here. Hopefully that doesn't hinder anything. All right, but yeah, look at that. Look at that dark brown area here. So this is really where I think it's going to get ugly quick. And let me zoom on in to show you exactly where those areas are. Again, we're freelancing a little bit here. I don't know why I can't see that. All right, there we go. All right, so anywhere from Georgetown, Branchville, Sanford Town, Reading Ridge, this area, these areas, the same central Fairfield County that was hit really hard in 2024 as well. Yeah, Mike, thanks for the comment here. 1.5 inches, Hanover District and Newtown. So yeah, right over the border here in Newtown, we are seeing likely flash flooding is about to occur shortly, if it's not occurring already, as prolific rainfall continues to fall. Bruce, house fire in Stanford from possible lightning strike. I don't doubt it. Ton of lightning down there in that Stanford storm. New Canaan now getting hit with those cloud to ground strikes. You really got to be careful. Lightning, obviously an underrated hazard. Everybody always talks about the wind risk, the tornado risk, the hail risk, but that, it can really go downhill quickly with any spin up in Yorktown. Justin, I don't think there was a spin up. I didn't see anything low level on radar. I could take another look though. Right now, I think it could have just been straight line winds. But yeah, well, it's always a threat. Always the threat in these types of setups. Yeah, Dan. Anytime you're driving on the highway, so he's talking about 684 before. Now this has moved on. Merritt Parkway. I mean, look at this. Oh my gosh, this is just getting hammered here. All the way through Greenwich, Darien, New Canaan, even into Wilton. This area just getting hit really, really hard. I'll switch back to radar mode so we can see what we're dealing with here. But yeah, this is the notch, right? So these are, oh my God. Sorry, the scanner on to try to listen to calls. It's driving me crazy. Let me just mute that. I was trying to see if there were any live flash flooding reports coming in from some of these areas. But that's the notch right here we have to be concerned about. We'll go back to velocity. Loading. All right, there it is. Right over Norwalk. Look at that. Frame this one. So this is where that notch is, and this is where we could, if something tightens up here, we could see a little bit of a spin up. All right in downtown. We'll give you the exact neighborhoods here. Westport Avenue, heading towards the Norwalk, Stu Leonard's, right? Obviously a highly populated area there. So there could be a little bit of wind with this. We'll have to watch for a spin up. If anything tightens up, I'm sure they'll issue a warning. But that is where that notch is coming right in. So a couple notches here coming in. Prolific lightning off to the north with the cell. And then it's the really heavy rainfall that is continuing in places like Easton and Monroe and Newtown. These are the areas that have picked up already an inch and a half of rainfall. And we're going to see that continue here over the next half hour, 45 minutes. Laura, driving through Ridgefield, 20-25 miles an hour on 116 with wipers up as high as they could go, still wasn't effective. Yeah, I mean, these rates are prolific, right? As soon as we get into 2+ inches per hour in terms of rainfall, that's when it starts to get dangerous. I'll go back to the storm total. We'll look at the storm total radar here. I think that's going to be kind of telling too. You can probably see where these cells are setting up. So there was one area in New Fairfield that I thought might have been flash flooded before too, but it's really the southern cell kind of took over. And these are, I mean, look at these rates. Reading closing in on 3 inches. Southern part of Ridgefield 3.75 inches. Right. These are the areas where all that fell in an hour, maybe an hour 20, something like that. So you can start to see flash flood issues really quickly. Let's see. I'll again put this in motion here. I try not to zoom in and out so much anymore. I know that's annoying to the audience, right? We're working on the lives, and let me change the frame rate here too. Did this one a little impromptu. Obviously, I wasn't necessarily expecting this first round to be that bad. To jump on a live, I thought I could just handle it with the text updates, but we got to do what we got to do when the storms roll in, right? But yeah, look at this. So you can kind of get a good idea of the area here that is the the really heavy rainfall and all of that lightning again. All of that lightning. This really is was a severe thunderstorm here in southern Fairfield County. So glad they got the warnings out on that quickly. Hopefully people were able to heed that. But the flash flooding, really, I mean, when you talk about a road like the Merritt Parkway like that, I've seen, especially I think it's Easton or Fairfield, we've seen the Merritt Parkway flood really quickly in some of those areas where they have to do water rescues. So it can happen quickly, and we just got to stay on top of it here. That heavy rain is moving into that area right near Easton Fairfield Trumbull line. And this cell, I think, will likely just track it's just kind of meandering east-northeast here. And again, we'll see if anything tightens up here in Norwalk. This is some rotation. Let's look at that again. That kind of caught my eye. Yeah, it's still in that same spot. So right in the center of Norwalk, essentially. This Westport Avenue area. What is that? Main Street. That's really where that rotation is occurring, where the greens meet the reds here. And it's pretty, these are 40-mile-an-hour winds blowing, 43-mile-an-hour winds blowing one way, 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing the other way. So that's not nothing when it comes to a rotation, especially when you match it up with the rain here at the low level. Getting a little purples here now too, indicating just where it's really heavy. You could even see some small hail, though hail I don't think large hail is a concern today. It's more the small variety. Somebody commenting from Fairfield. Yeah, Fairfield's going to get into it, especially the northern side of town. These seem like they want to parallel the shoreline a little bit. As what I mean by that is not necessarily going out over the sound yet, but that could change, especially as this tries to push a little bit more east. I can't stress enough, though, these areas to the north here, Newtown, southern side of Newtown, especially towards the river there, the Housatonic River, Monroe, Easton, Fairfield, northern part of Fairfield, northern part of Bridgeport. These are the areas where the flooding. Westport, I've seen Westport flood before really easily, with flash flooding as well. So again, that's the main concern right now, is like if you're driving through these areas, a lot of people do, right? Lunch hour, people are out and about. Just don't do it. Don't do it. And I actually so in Bethel, we weren't necessarily the hardest hit, but I had 1.78 inches on my gauge in most of it fell in a half an hour. So again, these rain rates are intense. Yeah, Polly, as far as flooding in Bethel, I haven't gotten any confirmed reports yet. I'm looking out for them. I'm sure there was in some of the flood-prone areas. Minor flooding here, reporting in Richfield. Thank you, Liza, for that. Route 7 in Richfield. Yeah, Carrier down in Shelton and Stratford. It's not there yet. It is coming, especially the Shelton area. You've probably seen some lighter returns, lighter rain. But the heavy storms these things have just been holding together. We haven't really seen much weakening. If anything, some of these cores have strengthened a little bit. The parallel nature of this kind of driving over the same areas, the northern side of Norwalk, southern side of Wilton, is concerning to me. This is like pretty solid flash flood threat, I think, from really this whole area here. Again, let me draw it, but I would probably focus on kind of a little bit inland, but this is like where the cell. So if it's trying to fire this way, and then this is kind of shooting off from the top, right? So these areas really are where I'd be concerned, and then this whole thing will slowly translate to the east over the next few hours. It seems like in the northern end, if you're asking from like Woodbury or Waterbury, the northern end is weakening a little bit. A lot of the convection kind of funneling into this area here in southern Connecticut. Now, northern Connecticut has a better chance of the storms later, right? So I think it'll probably be one of those days where the warm front impacts areas closer to the shoreline, and then the cold front comes in with a little bit of more risk to the northwestern areas. But we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. There's nothing ever set in stone with these, right? But yeah, I can't stress enough here. Let's see how much Easton's gotten in the last couple hours, or the last 1 hour, I should say. Yeah, you can see 2.5 inches, 2.5 inches down into New Canaan. A lot of these red areas almost seem to grow. 3 inches center New Canaan in the last hour. That's going to cause flash flooding, right? So there's just really there's no avoiding it at that point. It's going to do it. Let's see some of your thunder nonstop in Brookfield, pouring rain, nothing now. Yeah, so the worst of the storms have moved east of Greater Danbury, south and east, I should say. All right, you're getting a tornado warning, Chris. Yeah, let me see if anything pops up here. I got a little bit of lag. I don't see a tornado warning or anything like that yet. But if it pops up, we can definitely look at that. I can address Southbury Terrace. So Southbury, you're kind of on the northern edge of the heavy rain. It looks like it's trying to slide east of you. I'd be a little bit more worried. I mean, if you're in extreme southern Southbury, towards State Park here that I'm blanking on right now. Clearly, I'm not having the best day. But the state forest here, and then towards Oxford, that's where I'd be more concerned, where we got these 2-inch per hour rates. But overall, right now, I think like downtown Southbury, exit 15 area, you're probably okay. Yeah, pouring in Newtown. Thank you, Rory, for the report there. Let's look back at the radar quick here. I want to see if, yeah, look at that. That's nasty. So again, this is going to be the worst part of the storm here. A ton of lightning here, northern end of Norwalk, Wilton, especially South Wilton. We have a South Wilton station. Excited to see the rainfall. It's right about here. The rainfall out of that. This is also Weston. This is going to be northern Westport. Northern Westport, I'm sure you're getting absolutely hammered. And if anything nefarious was going to be here as far as a spin up, it would be right in this area, in this notch. That's the rotational piece that we're looking at. This is trying to slide this way, this whole storm moving this way. But yeah, right over Norwalk, East Norwalk now. I'm sure Norwalk downtown, you're seeing an absolute heck of a storm down there. And remember, some of these coastal cities, they don't get the big storms necessarily that they do in Litchfield County, right? So this could be the worst storm of the year for that, that Greenwich to Bridgeport corridor. All right, Milford, Chris. Yeah, it's coming, man. It's coming. You're right on the edge right now, but this whole thing is sliding close to you. And like I said, those prolific rainfall rates, they're slow movers, right? So this isn't something that's like every radar update I'm like, oh, it's in the next town. This is taking quite a while to work through here. Yeah, Kettletown was what I was trying to say, Rory. Geez, I know that was so bad. That was what I was trying to say. Thank you. Ton of reports here. Yeah, monsoons in New Canaan. I would just let me know if you see anything crazy, any wind in New Canaan, any flash flooding. It's been so heavy there for a good period of time now. It's starting to kind of work to the east, but it's taking its time. Sitting in the Orms Park. I know exactly where you are, David. Thank you for the report. The Orms parking lot in Wilton getting absolutely hammered. Yeah, I'm sure it is. That's probably right about here. And ignore the notch, by the way. This notch is fake. It's not. It's the radar getting blocked by a physical object. So it is raining in here. This is not a break in the rain. All right, Wilton Police Department, please stay off the roads. Thank you, Wilton Police Department, for commenting. Lots of flooding taking place as we speak. Yeah, so can't stress it enough. You heard it there. That's law enforcement reported. Flash flooding taking place. Probably that southern end of Ridgefield to Wilton to Norwalk corridors just getting absolutely hammered. New Canaan. So please take it slow. Let's look at them. We'll zoom in for you, Wilton Police Department, and we'll see where the absolute worst of it is in the town. Again, ignore the streak right through the middle of Wilton. I know that annoys a lot of people. But here we can see, yeah, I mean, closing in on 4 inches in some areas, especially right near the town center here. I mean, but it hit everywhere pretty good. I'd say 3 to 4 inches of rain. This is going to be a pretty incredible flash flood event. in some of these areas here from New Canaan to Wilton, Silver Mine, or the whole Merritt Parkway. Please, I mean, I can't stress it enough. If you're on the Merritt Parkway, do not drive through floodwaters. It does every time we get one of these heavy rains here, and it looks like it is working into that kind of that Aspetuck area. Every time we get one of these, we end up getting water rescues off the Merritt Parkway and some of these tertiary roads. So please just be safe. And again, Wilton Police Department reporting there. Lots of flooding taking place as we speak. Yeah, I should have mentioned Reading as well. I was really concerned about Reading when I first opened it. The rates have lessened there a little bit right now, unless you're in the extreme southern portion of town, like south of Georgetown. But Easton, Wilton, Norwalk, Westport, Fairfield still getting hammered here. And again, it is slowly translating to the east. I don't know what kind of tag they put on this flash flood warning. Let me just check quickly here. Yeah, so they did put the considerable damage tag on this, and that's, let me get the comment off of here. That's never good. That's not what we want to see. So when they do this, let me just read it out to you because I know it can be a little blurry on the screen, but life-threatening flash flooding of creeks and streams, urban areas, highways, streets, and underpasses. Some locations will experience the flooding: Bridgeport, Stamford, Norwalk, Milford, Shelton, Port Chester, New York, which the threat there is probably diminishing. Greenwich, starting to be over. Stratford, Trumbull, Westport, Darien, Monroe, Wilton, Weston, Rybrook, Easton, and Armonk. And again, that is radar and gauge indicated. So that means when they say gauge indicated, they're seeing rainfall reports that are 3 inches or more likely. And that the damage threat, when we see considerable like that, that is not good. That means that they expect legitimate damage to take place. That could mean roads being washed out. That could mean water into people's houses, things like that. So not good. And again, I missed when this one was. Yeah, so this just came a few minutes ago. This was in addition to the larger flash flood warning. So we'd originally had a flash flood warning for southern Fairfield County, and then they issued another one for the majority of Fairfield County, pretty much everyone except extreme western areas, Danbury, New Fairfield, etc. But now this one is going to be, this is the storm that we need to be really concerned about here in terms of flash flooding. And I do have to jump off at some point. I'm on my lunch break right now from work. I do have to jump off and do other things, but I can stay with you till about 1 p.m. here. Oh, I am getting, so live reports right now, Route 25. So Route 25 between Newtown and Monroe, flooding. Let's see what else we have here. West Reading, 3 inches and counting. Thank you for that report. But yeah, not a good situation here. So
I think Warren broke his arm.
Okay. All right, I gotta jump off. I apologize. We got a little family thing going on, but appreciate all your time. Please be safe. Never drive through floodwaters, and I will see you soon.